Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the Finals Season 7. We're on Las Vegas here, and I'm going to be running heavy in this gameplay. The last couple videos, I went over my favorite light loadout for Season 7, I went over my favorite medium loadout for Season 7, and now I'm going to be going over my favorite for heavy, which I'm immediately going to apologize because it is probably going to be the most boring one, because it's basically the same heavy loadout that I've been running like the entire time the game's been out. But, I mean, there's a reason for it. It's like the bread and butter, like the PB&J of the heavy class. Like, it's just the go-to. This loadout has just like always been good. It's still really good. So if I'm being honest, yeah, it's still my favorite heavy loadout. I definitely will do another video on heavy, utilizing the new healing emitter gadget. I definitely want to do that. I have a bit of a different loadout too. It definitely has a bit of a different play style. I like to run charge when I run the healing emitter, dome, and then I take RPG off, and I like running barricades with it as well, because I think barricades pair really well with charge and slam, and then also with the healing emitter, so you can kind of have like some cover for the healing emitter. And then dome is just like really hard to get away from, although it's probably the flex gadget, honestly, in that loadout. But yeah, charge, and then like M60, Lewis, healing emitter, barricade, dome. That's what I like running. That's like my alternate loadout. We'll do another video on that in the future. But I do think that gadget is good. I just don't think that loadout as a whole is as good, I guess, is kind of why, like, this is my favorite heavy loadout. Again, like, it's a solid gadget. I just, like, the play style of it doesn't fit with, like, the way that I like to play heavy, I guess. Like, this loadout fits with the way that I like to play the class a lot better. And so therefore I have more fun with it, and I've enjoyed using it more. So that's kind of why, you know, this favorite heavy loadout video is on this loadout and not the other one. I just feel like it fits the playstyle better. Another thing I have to address too is I'm running the Shak in this one with the mesh, dome, RPG, C4, like classic gadget loadout. I'm running the Shak though, and I've been running the SA-12 a lot on stream. And I've been playing with the SA-12 a lot, but I decided to do the video with the Shak because I actually like the Shak quite a bit. And if I were to play heavy and ranked, personally, I would actually probably feel more comfortable with my performance on the Shak than the SA-12. And that's not saying anything about, like, the strength of the weapons. I actually think both these weapons are really good, and you'll see a lot of top players swap off of both of these weapons, and it makes sense that they would, because they're both really good, and a lot of the time it's just like a playstyle thing, team comp thing on which one you want to use. And that's kind of where I land on it, right? Like, I really like using the SA-12. I have a lot of fun with the SA-12, but personally, if I'm being honest with myself, I just like the type of weapons that I feel really strong with and feel really comfortable with. The Shak just fits that for me a lot better. So yeah, like, if I was going to load into ranked, I would probably run the Shak over it. So that's part of the reason why I'm doing the gameplay with the Shak. The other reason is just like variety's sake. The SA-12 has obviously been in the game from the start. The Shak has not. And particularly the Shak got added around the time that I stopped doing videos as frequently. So I don't have like that much gameplay uploaded on the Shak. So I wanted to get another Shak gameplay in. I'll definitely do more SA-12 gameplays too. Like, I definitely have plenty. But yeah, for this first one, I wanted to use the Shak because it still fits the loadout. It's still part of the favorite loadout, even if it's like the alternate choice. It still fits it. And yeah, variety's sake and just like personal comfort. Again, if I was playing ranked, I'm not. I would probably run the Shak over the SA-12. And there's a lot of other people that would too. There's a lot of other people that would run the SA-12 as well. It's really a personal preference thing. Use both, mess around with both, experiment with both, see which one you like, because they're both very valid options the way the game is currently balanced. So yeah, that's the explanation, the context behind everything. But yeah, I guess go into like how to play it a little bit. So basically, with this loadout, you're like the frontliner, and you want to like have attention on you, and that's why you've got like the dome to entry frag a little bit, right? Go into a fight throwing the dome. That's why you've got the mesh shield, so that when you get the attention of the other team, you can put up that mesh shield, buy yourself some time, give your teammates hopefully behind you some cover. They can do damage, and the mesh shield kind of can go both ways as well. Like, you can use it with your team. You can also use it like selfishly a little bit if you get separated from your team. It'd be a really good spec to just help keep yourself alive. So yeah, it's like frontliner, like entry frag type playstyle with the RPG as well. You're often opening with like dome and RPG to just like protect yourself, but also like get big damage in. And then the C4, there's a few ways you can actually offensively use the C4, but the C4 is generally like a defensive gadget. You're generally putting the C4 on and around the box to stall or hopefully get some damage in on the enemies when they're stealing, so you can hopefully like jump in there and stop the steals. So, and then the weapon, it's weird because you wouldn't think this, but the shak and the SA-12 both kind of play similarly, because the shak does not have very good range damage, so the shak honestly kind of plays like an SMG, weirdly enough. If you haven't played it before, like that's kind of how you're supposed to play with it. The range damage on this thing is not very good, but the TTK and the up close damage is actually like very good. So yeah, you kind of play it like an SMG, and obviously the SA-12 is a shotgun, so you're going to be like in faces. So that's kind of where like the synergy comes from, right? Like dome and mesh help you close distance on the enemies, get close, so that you can get the best use out of your SA-12 or your shak, and get that big burst damage in. And yeah, so basically a good rule of thumb too with the mesh is you just pop it, and most players, what they're going to do is they're not going to just like waste ammo into your mesh. But if they do, especially if you have somebody soloed out, as soon as you see them start to reload, try to pay attention, by the way, to like what weapons people are using. That'll really help you for this particular loadout, because you'll know like about when they're gonna reload. But if they are like wasting ammo in the mesh, pay attention for that. Get ready for that reload, because obviously that's your time to strike. Or look for them to run away. Like a lot of people will not, you know, especially if they don't have backup, they won't like fully commit into shooting the shield. So, you know, look for them to look away. And as soon as they do that, that's when you know, get your gun back up, chase them down, and just be really annoying, make things super uncomfortable for them. That's what this class is like really good at doing. So that's kind of the play style. That's kind of what you want to do with it. And it's just really good at kiting too. Like if we're talking about like ranked gameplay, holding cash outs, like a sweatier lobby, stuff like that. Obviously like mesh dome, really good for kiting. And again, like shak and SA-12, really good for like close distances to kind of play around that as well. But yeah, that's kind of how you play the loadout, kind of how I play it. And it's a lot of fun. And what I really like about it is it just like, there's so much like micro management with this loadout. When compared to like when I play light, I almost think it can get kind of boring sometimes, because for the most part, the loadout that I play on light, the way you play it is like super straightforward. I just like position myself well and just try to beam people. Like that's pretty much it. Just position myself well, try to beam people, try to stay alive. That's basically it. Like as far as like gadget management and stuff like that, there's not too much like thought put into it. Whereas with this heavy loadout, and medium is kind of like similar, but not entirely with the loadout that I play. It's a little bit more interesting because of DMAT. DMAT can make things kind of interesting playing with DMAT. But with this heavy loadout, I find myself like thinking a lot more, which is kind of like why, that's partially like why I enjoy it, is that it's, I don't know, like with heavy, don't get me wrong, like your shot is important, your movement's important, but your character is so slow. Your character is so slow. And also like you have the biggest hitbox. So like the difference of in the skill gap of like movement and shooting is just reduced a ton, right? Just inherently by the power of your class, if that makes sense. Like you just don't have as much to work with in terms of the movement and shooting, because again, like this huge hitbox, the weapons are super weak and you move really slow. So the difference in skill gap with heavy is a lot more of like a thinking man's game with positioning and like how you time and like use your gadgets. And I just find that really fun. Like I find it really fun to play around that and to have that micromanaging aspect. And to have that be such a big part of the gameplay. Yeah, I just personally find that a little bit more enjoyable, for especially when I'm like solo queuing and playing for a very long time. Whereas again, like with the light especially, but medium to some extent as well, I feel like they can get a little bit more boring a little bit quicker with the loadouts that I play with those. But with heavy, I just find that this is just always fun. Like I just find that it's always fun because I find that I'm always like thinking about how I'm playing and trying to like approach things in a smart way and not always just like, I don't know, just like run it down, do damage, run it down, like, you know what I mean? It's just, there's a little more thought to it, and I think that makes it a little bit more fun for me. So yeah, that's kind of like what separates it a little bit from the other classes. So you know, it kind of goes both ways, right? Like if that sounds enticing to you, you might really like this loadout and playing heavy. On the other hand, if you're like, nah, I want the thinking taking out of it, I'm just trying to go around, shoot people, not do too much thinking, which is fine, because I have, you know, times like that too. Then yeah, maybe stick to the light or medium loadouts instead. It might be a little bit more up your alley, because I feel that I definitely am like that at certain points in time as well. But yeah, that's kind of why I enjoy it. And also, like, I just think heavy is pretty good this season. I think that the change that they made to Sledge and to Serb was kind of like an indirect heavy buff, because not having like Serb mediums just run at you and just do a shit ton of damage, like even if they die, you're basically just guaranteed dead. That's like a huge buff. The fact that those players are not really a thing anymore, it makes it feel a lot nicer when playing heavy. And then also like the Sledge is a lot worse in general, but specifically a lot worse against heavies. And so those are two like really common weapons that were really hard for heavies to deal with, that are just not really a thing in this current meta. So because of that, I find heavy to be a lot more fun to play this season. I don't think it's quite back to, you know, Season 1, Season 2, where you're going to see, like, double heavy be a thing. I don't think it's quite like that. In World Tour, sure. In World Tour, you could definitely run double heavy, make it work. Not that it's ideal, but you could definitely do it. But I don't think we're, you know, quite to the point where we're going to see that meta, like, develop again and be the thing in ranked. But it does feel a lot better, though. It does feel a lot better to play, in my opinion. So if you haven't played heavy in a while, definitely give it a shot. You might enjoy it, because yeah, like for me, had to let that guy know a little bit. But yeah, like for me, like light and heavy have just been so much fun this season. And medium is actually the class where I've kind of like had a little bit of a struggle, if anything. Not to say that medium's bad, because medium's still very good too. Like the preferred team comp is definitely still HML. But when I found that like some of my hardest games have been on medium, whereas like when I play heavy and light, I feel like I can be very consistent. Oh, another thing too, and you know, obviously I mentioned it before, but yeah, like the healing emitter, like we just saw that heavy using it. The healing emitter too is actually really nice. Like again, I'm not running it in this particular loadout, but when I run my alternate loadout that I'll eventually do a video on, I do like to run it, and I do think it's very good in that loadout. And I do think it's a big buff to heavy, because the one thing that it has over the light pistol, the light pistol's insane, the light healing pistol's insane, but the one thing that healing emitter has over it is the fact that it can heal all of your teammates at the same time, right? Just like slowly, continuously do that. That is really strong, and in some situations that is arguably stronger than what the light pistol can do. So that gadget is legit. And even though I don't like running it in this particular loadout, I would not advise you against it if you do run it and find that you enjoy it, right? I just have a hard time running it with this loadout because it just feels a little bit awkward to me. Because like when I want to initiate a fight, I usually want to like, I don't know, mesh dome or dome mesh or whatever. And then when I add the healing ball into the equation, I feel like I still want to utilize it. But then I'm like holding that and throwing that into the fight, but I also want to be like throwing dome to initiate the fight, and it just feels like too much. So if you're going to swap it, I guess you swap it for like the C4, I guess. But then you need to make sure that you have like a DMAT medium that's doing a really good job of staying alive, because there still needs to be stall. And yeah, it just gets kind of weird with this loadout. I definitely prefer the healing emitter with the charge loadout for sure. It just feels like a little too much with the micromanagement when I run it with this loadout. But again, like I noticed that some people do, so don't let it, you know, get you away from it. Like if you do use this loadout with it and you find success with it and it doesn't feel awkward to you, more power to you. That's just how it feels to me. So that's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of how that is for me. But anyways, we're getting close to the end of this one. I feel like I explained all my thoughts pretty well at this point, so I feel like I kind of, you know, went through everything I wanted to go through as far as talking about this loadout goes. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the gameplay. Shout out to my teammates in this one. They're pretty solid console players, you know, representing for the console crowd. Shout out my brothers, because I don't know, there's the PC superiority complex. You know, whenever I uploaded the 60 bomb video, got a lot of that in the comments, and there's some good console players out there, man. Like these guys, like even though, yeah, we are in a console lobby here, But these guys, I could queue crossplay with these guys and still feel very confident that we're going to win most of our games. Like these guys, I randomly queue into, I don't even think I have either of them added, but I randomly queue into them all the time, like very frequently. For some reason, I rarely play against them, but I queue up on their team often. And it's always a fun time playing with these guys. They're pretty chill and they're really good at the game. So they're two other like really good console players. And yeah, just like representing a little bit. So shout out if they do happen to chance upon this video. Shout out to my teammates in this one, because again, I play with these guys really regularly, and I love to see some solid, console player representation, because we do exist. All right, there's not as many of us, but we do exist, and they are really good. So yeah, give them their credit, give them their flowers. Shout out to them. There you go, GG's. Again, that's about all I have for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me know what you think your favorite like heavy loadout to run is this season. Again, this is what I like. But I don't know. The alternate one with the healing emitter is interesting. I'm definitely going to run it more. Maybe that'll be the next video. I don't know. I'm going to try to do a lot of variety in these videos this season, so we'll see. But again, hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.